Welcome to Wednesday Words for August the 27th, 2025, here on Following Him, the Disciple Life. And the word for today is Christian. And this is actually a pretty natural follow-up to last week's word. You can look back in the Wednesday Words video from last week to see what that word was. And as we get into this, the connection will be pretty obvious. To understand the term, it's helpful to break down the term. Now, if you look at the word, you see what word in there? Christ. That part's pretty self-explanatory. Of course, the word Christ has some specific meaning to it, but that's not the word we're dealing with today. But that ending, that I-A-N ending, what's going on there? Well, that ending, I-A-N, goes back to the Greek. The Greek word we translate as Christian is Christianos. And actually that ending, that I-A-N, O-S ending, or if you're using Greek letters, iota, alpha, nu, omicron, sigma, that goes back to a Latin ending that you would spell I-A-N-U-S, at least if we're talking English letters. And that ending in Greek, which is adopted from the Latin, that would indicate allegiance to or association with someone. Hence, in the New Testament, we have words like Ephesians. You know, the book of Ephesians, we have the Herodians, those that had an allegiance to a particular political dynasty, with the Herodian family, with the Herods. And so it would make sense that we have in Acts 11:26 that we have disciples of whom? Well, of Christ. Followers of Christ. Keep in mind, a disciple that's not a synonymous term with apostle. People get confused in that and they think, well, the disciple, isn't that an apostle? No. All your apostles were disciples, but most disciples are not apostles. There were 14 men that were apostles, at least the specific office called apostle. And yes, there's a more generic usage of that term in the Greek. But a disciple is a follower, a student of, an imitator of a rabbi, of a teacher. And so obviously somebody like that has an allegiance to, an association with that particular rabbi. So you got people that are followers of, learners of, imitators of Christ. They're Christians. So with that in mind, even though the word Christian is only used in 3 places specifically in the New Testament, this is a point sometimes people make, say, well, it's only mentioned 3 times, and that is true. Acts 11:26, which we just referred to. There in Acts 26:28, we have Agrippa saying to Paul, that you almost persuaded me to be a Christian. Or there in 1 Peter 4:16, where Peter talks about that if somebody suffers as a Christian, that they shouldn't be ashamed. But if we understand that Christian means a follower of Christ, the concept is all throughout the New Testament. And Christ defines for us even more what is involved with being a Christian when we understand that Christian means disciple of Christ. And that is the definition we're given to it, that it's a disciple of Christ. John 8:31, that if we abide in his word, we are his disciples indeed. So a Christian is a follower of Christ. It's somebody that abides in, that lives in the word of Christ, somebody that follows Jesus. Thank you for being with me today, and shalom.